Hey yo, what is up? In the super test today, BZ-75, the Chinese Tech Tree Tier 10 heavy tank. This is the one with the turbo boosters. It's gonna be incredible. Right now you're looking at the BZ-75 Tier 10 with the 152mm gun, and this comes with, because it's a Tech Tree tank, right, it comes with two guns, 152 and a Derp gun, which is 180 something millimeters. I think it's 180 millimeters with 1000 something damage, 1600 damage. So the 150 millimeter gun is going to give you 650 damage and, you know, a bit quicker reload than the Derp gun, of course. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Let's take a look at all the stats. Here you can see the 180 and 152 millimeters. Same kind of accuracy, different kind of aim time. Of course, the reload time is going to be different as well. 17-second reload versus a 30-second reload for these two different guns. This, you are looking at the 152mm, which is the first gun that you will get, and then you need to pay more XP or whatever to get the Derp gun 182mm. You're looking at the 152mm again. That's what it looks like down here, and this is what it looks like in the wild, the 182mm. But let's talk about the 152mm first, and some basic stats that they share, whether it be 152 or 180mm gun. This thing has 2500 hit points, 800 horsepower. Now it has 2000 horsepower when you've got the afterburners on. The afterburners are like rockets, right? So yeah, it's gonna give you a 2000 horsepower boost, and the power to weight ratio is 12.66, which is like a, you know, slow heavy tank. But with the boosters, turbochargers, rockets, whatever you want to call them, it becomes 31.66. It makes it into a light tank, basically from a slow heavy tank into a light tank. The maximum speed is 35 going forward and 15 in reverse, while with the turbochargers, rocket boosters, you can get it up to 53 kilometers an hour going forward. It only goes forward with the rocket boosters. In reverse, only 1 kilometers an hour, even with boosters. So you can't boost yourself going backwards. The afterburners, if you are using the 152mm gun, you get 6 of them. And if I'm not mistaken, the as soon as you spawn into the game, after 4 seconds, you can get to use your first afterburner. So I don't know how long is the cooldown, but we will find out how long that cooldown is for the recharging of the afterburners. The hull armor, 200mm in the front, is sloped, of course. So you can expect, you know, a little bit more than stated. It's more than 200mm because it's angled and sloped this way. The turret armor, 330 and sloped, so it's going to be impenetrable. But remember, you have some weak points in the cupola left and right, so you can expect a bit of you know, weak spots there you can shoot at. Again, the 152mm gun, which is not this one, does 650 damage with 258 penetration. And if you look at the penetration, 258 penetration on the AP shells, and 319 penetration on the heat shells. Shell velocity is 1150 and 950 on the heat shells. That's not too bad. The reload time, 16.3 seconds. So let's say you can get it down to 15 seconds with food and BIA. With food and BIA, you can get it down to about 15 seconds. And then the dispersion, 0.38. So 15 seconds with 650 damage is actually not too bad. This is a pretty competitive gun, not the Derp gun. I mean the 152. that is actually pretty good. 2.59 aim time, pretty slow aim time. It's gonna aim, if you've been playing recently with the new tanks, the Udarni or the TL7, it's gonna be similar kind of aim time, really slow aim time. That is going to be kind of frustrating sometimes. It has 8 degrees of gun depression, thank goodness not 10 degrees. 8 degrees makes it playable, but not too completely overpowered, I would say. I think that is the main takeaway I get from that. Now, when you are playing with the 180mm gun, it's going to be slightly different in the power to weight ratio. It is 12.9. Just slightly different. There's going to be not much difference actually. It's just the numbers says 12.9 versus the 152mm you get 12.6 power to weight ratio, so it's actually really not a lot of difference. The speed as well, same 32 the speed 35 going forward, 15 in reverse. Even with a 180mm gun, you are going 53 forward and 1 in reverse. The afterburners, you also get 6 pieces, 6 afterburners. You can use it 6 times, and the cooldown is 10 seconds to recharge after you've used it the first time. But basically, once you load into the game, I think 4 or 5 seconds, you can start using your first afterburner and get into your early position. This thing has 390 view range. The hull armor and turret armor is just the same, even with the 180mm gun or the 150mm gun, but the damage on the 180mm gun is 1600. Obviously, you're not going to get high penetration. It's going to be HE shells with 75 millimeters of penetration, and then you got the premium, I suppose, HE shells as well, and that's going to do less damage, but still 1050 damage for 225 penetration. So 225 penetration, you can blast a lot of tier 8s, sides of tier 9s, some lower plates of tier 9s for 1050 damage on the premium HE shells, which is what I suspect the 180mm gun is going to be. It's just going to be HE shells. Either you do 1600 damage with 75mm of pen, or 1050 damage with 225mm of penetration. The reload time is atrocious, 28.76 seconds of reload time for the 180mm gun. The dispersion 0.38 dispersion. It is the same as the 152mm gun. 0.38 dispersion isn't too bad for a derp gun. And then the aim time 2.88 seconds, slightly worse than the 152mm gun, which is 2.5 something seconds. So that is the interesting part about this tank. There are 2 guns. Both guns are very viable. I think a lot of people are going to play the super derp gun, the 180mm, just because it's going to be hilarious if you pen for 1600 damage with 75mm. Imagine sneaking up on someone, shooting them from the back with your, you sneak into a position with your turbos, get there, and then derp them for 1600 damage. That is just going to be insane. So anyway, this is the new BZ-75 Tech Tree heavy tank on the Chinese server. Imagine the tier 8s are going to be like this, tier 9s are going to be like this as well. Going to have 2 guns with a derp potential. That is insane. So very interesting tank. I don't know how the community is going to accept or is going to react to this tank coming out. Let's see what happens. And thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.